Well, to kick things off, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us this evening for our Merrimack College webinar series. My name is Gianna Voccola, and I have the pleasure of serving as Dean of Undergraduate Admission. I'm here also joined by my colleague, Dr. Sean Condon, who is the Provost and Senior Vice President at Merrimack. And together, we are so excited to share some of the most innovative things that are happening at Merrimack, including some of our new academic offerings that are not only just cutting edge, but also make obtaining a college degree more affordable than ever. So we'll share some information with you about how these programs are helping to transform the student experience and prepare our graduates for success in today's world. So to kick things off, I will share with you some high-level information about Merrimack. At Merrimack, we truly believe that you get the best of both worlds, the opportunities and resources of a larger research university paired with the personal attention of a close-knit community. Merrimack is just 25 miles north of Boston, which is about 30 minutes away from the city. So our students hop onto the train in Andover to do things like internships, see games, and just take advantage of city life. And back on campus, you'll find strong academic programs and community support. We have over 4,000 undergraduate students, over 2,500 graduate students, which make Merrimack a really ideal size for so many students. We also boast a 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio, so you'll never ever feel lost in the crowd at Merrimack. Plus, with over 100 different degrees and 30 plus graduate pathways, there are just countless ways to explore Merrimack. So let's talk a little bit about academics. Merrimack offers programs across 6 schools. We have the Girard School of Business, the School of Arts and Sciences, Engineering and Computational Sciences, Nursing and Health Sciences, Education, Social Policy, and of course, the Graduate School of Counseling and Social Work as well. With so many options, students can really mix and match majors and minors and electives across our schools, which is something that we encourage students to take advantage of. And if you are undecided, there are plenty of opportunities for you to work with our advising team to make sure that you are on the best possible pathway for you. This flexible, supportive structure empowers you to shape a program that truly fits your goals. So let's talk a little bit about what's new at Merrimack. Merrimack is reinventing higher education with innovative programs at breakthrough price points. You're here tonight because we want to share with you the innovation of the $17,000 tuition degrees. We started last year with the Humanities program with great success. And we actually welcomed nearly 75 students into this program at this price point. Families and students alike really see the value of an affordable degree option at Merrimack, where you get the best of all worlds, a low price point, and also all the bells and whistles that come across with a private school education. One of my favorite stories came recently from our president, who shared that he was walking across campus and struck up a conversation with a student. He asked that student what her major was, and she said, "Oh, I'm one of your new humanities students." And he's a very curious man, so he asked her, "Why did you choose the humanities program at Merrimack?" And she said, "Oh gosh, Dr. Hopi, you just cannot beat the value." And I think that that is such a strong testimonial to the types of academic programs that we offer and the environment at Merrimack. So building on that success, we are now expanding our $17,000 degree tuition model to encompass other programs as well. So that includes a Bachelor of Arts degree in government and another one in creative arts and design. These are affordable, future-ready pathways that prepare students with the skills and research opportunities, internships, and co-ops that they really need to excel after graduation. In addition, we also launched a brand new architecture program as well. We have a program in architectural studies and architecture. Those programs are designed with real world hands-on experience, and we've reduced that tuition cost to $33,500. We're also offering guaranteed scholarships for students in STEM majors in education and criminal justice. And new last year, we announced the addition of a housing grant of up to $8,000 annually. So affordability and excellence is really at the heart of Merrimack College. So, one of the things that we're really excited about is our brand new lecture hall, which is in the process of going up as we speak. And we really broke ground on this space to support our growing community. This will be a state-of-the-art lecture hall that's opening in the spring, 2 floors, about 19,000 square feet. It will have 5 different lecture halls with over 700 seats, and it's designed to really create a modern, active learning environment for students. Secondly, we also have a series of brand new residence halls that are going up as well that we're really, really excited about. This is going to expand our footprint on campus in a really big way. These 2 buildings that you see here will be open in fall 2026 and will feature almost 600 additional beds on campus to support our residential community. In addition to those beds, we will also have a new honors pavilion in that space, a fitness center, and over 12,000 square feet of academic space. So it's not just about housing, it's also going to be a vibrant hub for student life as well. Lastly, before I hand things over to Dr. Condon, I want to just reintroduce the concept of the $17,000 degree and what it really means for a school like Merrimack. While tuition standpoints are at an all-time high across higher education, we really believe that our innovative programs that bring the cost down to $17,000 a year make Merrimack so competitive with really any school in the nation. Nearly any student that's applying to Merrimack College will receive scholarships, and particularly those for this program can expect to receive a scholarship between $1,000 and $6,000 annually. So this benefits about 99% of our students who are receiving aid, and that aid applies to these $17,000 degrees. But what you really want to be cognizant of is what the return on investment is for any degree. And, certainly for the $17,000 degrees as well. 96% of our graduates are employed, going on to graduate school, or doing a combination of both within 9 months of leaving Merrimack. And our median salary earnings are about $122,000 a decade out. So that really speaks to the investment that you're making at Merrimack. So ultimately, Merrimack is here to disrupt the traditional approach to higher education, and these $17,000 degrees are one way that we are proving that a private school education can be both affordable, innovative, and career-focused all at the same time. We really believe that this is the future of higher education, and it's all happening right here at Merrimack. So with that, I will transition it over to Dr. Condon, who, as I mentioned, is our provost and senior vice president. Dr. Condon, take us through the rest of these degrees and what they mean.
Thank you so much, Gianna. I really appreciate it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. I'm excited to be here to talk about our $17,000 degrees. And Gianna, if you could go to the next slide, that would be great. Thank you. I'm really excited about these because I'm a humanities faculty member myself. My own background is in history. I got a PhD in history and studied American history. We have a large number of faculty across a lot of humanities and social science and arts disciplines who came together a couple years ago. It began in the humanities, and it was faculty coming together to say, could we create something new that brings together different humanities disciplines, different liberal arts disciplines, create a compelling degree, and offered in a way that is as widely accessible as possible. So I'm very excited about what we've built already and what we're building moving forward. So as Gianna mentioned, this is an annual tuition of just $17,000. This is an exceptional value in terms of the cost on the tuition side. It's not just the cost of the degree, it's how the degrees are built. And I'll take folks through that, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that people have. But we really began with a kind of recognition that the key skills and habits of mind and approaches that one can learn in the liberal arts, in the humanities, in the arts, in the social sciences, if it's done with intention and if it's done kind of thinking about the program as a whole, is completely aligned with the kinds of skills that employers are looking for now. And I think will also put our graduates in a great place to be flexible, to adapt, to develop new skills that will hold them in really good stead as they evolve through their career after their education at Merrimack. And I'll talk a little bit more about how we do that career alignment in just a moment. There's a great deal of flexibility in these degrees as well. So there's flexibility in terms of different concentrations. There's flexibility in terms of the type of courses that students have access to in terms of lectures, seminars, different kinds of hybrid courses, a lot of experiential courses and problem-based learning as well. And just a lot of choice that students will have within these $17,000 degrees. And finally, Merrimack is an Augustinian Catholic college. The other Augustinian college in the United States is Villanova. The Augustinians believe that real education, real transformative learning only really happens in community. And we place a great deal of emphasis on our community here at Merrimack. And so that's the community of students working with each other. Gianna mentioned the 70 odd humanities students that started this fall. They've already developed a close-knit connection with each other through things like a newborn humanities club. They're working closely with faculty. The faculty are a close-knit community as well. And so we're excited about the support that we can offer students and the guidance as they think through how to shape these degrees and what these degrees will mean moving forward. Gianna, do you mind hitting the next slide, please? Thank you. So I'll talk about the curricula for all three of these degrees in just a moment, but I do want to let folks know that these degrees will provide students with all of the other sort of academic experiences that students in other majors will have access to. So that includes things like our internship program and our co-op program. And so we've built out internships can be paid or unpaid, but tend to be for a part-time. We also have a co-op program that we're building that are paid, that are full-time. And we've developed a process that we can integrate it into a four-year college experience where students can do a 6-month co-op, get some credit for that, and stay on track to graduate in 4 years. Students who do any of these degrees also have the option to study abroad. They also have the option to engage with our world-class faculty in a variety of research projects. Merrimack's on a path to become a national research university. We have so many dedicated faculty who are on the cutting edge of all kinds of fields across the college, and there'll be lots of opportunities for students that want to work with faculty and engage in research. And service and giving back to the community is an important part of the Merrimack identity. And there's very rich opportunities from the first semester onward to engage in service learning as well. So those are ways in which students can customize their experience as part of their degree. Gianna, the next slide, please. So I'll just briefly walk through the 3 degrees. First is the humanities, and that's the one that we launched. That's already launched. That's live now with students this fall. Humanities students really embrace disciplines that study aspects of human society and culture. What it comes down to is thinking about what it means to be human and how human beings in the past and in the present and how we might consider what it means to be human in the future as well. It taps into a lot of traditions that are at the heart of the academy. And it's a really powerful way to learn about oneself, learn about the world, and to develop, skills that employers are looking for and that society needs. And so, it's a really powerful way to embrace college. So within the humanities, and I'll talk through the kind of the core part of the humanities, but the humanities has a variety of different concentrations that one can take. So there'll be some general humanities courses that I'll talk about, and then each humanities student will choose a concentration. And these concentrations are traditional disciplines like English or history, or religious and theological studies. But there's also interdisciplinary concentrations like creativity and imagination, bioethics, leadership, social entrepreneurship. So there's a applied artificial intelligence. There's a variety of different concentrations that one can choose. And so the humanities curriculum begins with a common course that's an introduction to humanities that all first-year students take. There's also concentration courses that students will take, some more upper level specialized courses that are both disciplinary and interdisciplinary. And there's also a skills track that humanities students take as well. And the skills are meant to kind of align with more of the job skills that folks are looking for. Those skills tracks include things like content creation, ethical reasoning, intercultural communication, and leadership. And they involve courses where students are practicing rather than sort of receiving information. They're kind of practicing that information to hone those skills. And then finally, everything kind of comes back together where students, through a two-course method and capstone sequence, take all of the pieces that they've learned in their courses. If they haven't engaged in things like statistical analysis and data visualization and project management, those are things that get embedded in those final two courses as well. We really want students to kind of bring all the pieces together to have that kind of coherent major experience. That curriculum consists of 11 courses. That provides a lot of opportunity for students to engage in other electives, to take minors. There's also a core curriculum that's 10 courses, and students have the ability to get another minor as part of their core curriculum as well. And so there's just a lot of opportunity with this humanities curriculum. And so I mentioned earlier, when we went to create the humanities degree, we began with a recognition that when humanities is done well, humanities helps students learn and hone really enduring skills. And we took the kinds of things that we said, this is what students are going to learn, and then we went to look at groups like the Society for Human Resource Management, SHRM, other organizations like the National Associations of Colleges and Employers, who put together annual surveys of what employers are looking for. And technology is changing the job market in very, very quickly, and things are evolving. But what we found is that year after year, there are certain durable or enduring skills that employers say are very, very important to them when they're thinking about hiring someone, promoting someone. And those skills are completely aligned. We rebuilt all the courses that are part of the humanities curricula to ensure that these things like problem solving, critical thinking, teamwork, written communication, those kinds of skills, along with kind of approaches and habits like a strong work ethic, adaptability, attention to detail, taking initiative, all of those things are things that students will practice and hone throughout their coursework, working with peers, working with faculty. So I really believe that this is a very powerful degree that can help students with, whatever career path they end up taking. It really puts them in a really good place. And you combine that with experiential things like an internship or a co-op or multiple internships or study abroad, and you really kind of set yourself up for a very strong post-college work and life career experience. So that's the humanities framework. We've taken that framework and used that framework for two other $17,000 degrees. One is government and the other is creative arts and design. Government really builds off of two disciplines that are heavily infused with social science theory, um, and some humanities as well, to be honest. And government really builds on the foundations of political science and history. And students will study theories and approaches to political systems, institutions, political operations. It's really fun foundational knowledge about how governments function and how individuals and groups engage to organize and govern society. And so there's a huge range of options that people can take with a government path. Like in the humanities, there's a variety of concentrations. There are some, if folks are looking at this closely, there are a couple of concentrations like history that you can do either in government or in humanities. And the difference there is really not the history courses themselves, but the other courses that you would take as either part of humanities or government. And so if you're more aligned to thinking about society or polities, governmental structures, but want to do history, government would be the way to go. If you like history because you like crafting narratives, you like understanding how people make meaning, and understand how that evolves over time, humanities might be a more suitable choice with a history concentration. But there's a variety of concentrations here, and students will have those options to pick if they choose government. So humanities is really built to provide kind of maximum flexibility. The government curriculum is a little bit more focused so that students can kind of build out a concentration. Like the humanities, there's an introduction course that's Introduction to Government. On top of that introduction, we build two more introductory courses. Students can focus either on the political science side or the history side, or they can choose an introductory course in both. There's upper level specialized courses, as well as the concentration. And like humanities, there's also a three-course skills track. And so here we're finding the role that data plays, understanding how to compile data, how to make sense of data, how to display one's understanding, is a really powerful suite of tools that really help people in the job market. And so the skills courses here will focus on research skills, quantitative and technological skills, as well as public speaking and communication, and then applying the kind of the themes and the approaches to specific examples. And just like in the humanities, there's also a capstone course that really pulls the curricula together at the end. And finally, creative arts and design. So again, taking different disciplines like visual art, theater, music, graphic design, bringing them together creating a really strong interdisciplinary core, and then having students concentrate in one of those disciplinary cores, I think provides a really powerful balance that I think can lead people in many, many different directions. So here the concentrations include filmmaking and media arts, graphic design, illustration, music, studio arts, and theater arts. And again, there's a structure to this degree that is a little bit different than the other two. Here, there are 8 core concentration courses. Those courses are interdisciplinary by nature and also connect to one another and speak to one another. It's not individual courses, but courses kind of designed together to be kind of interlocking and create a scaffolding for students that then launches them into their concentration. There are then 5 courses within their concentration. There's another elective course that's complementary. Students will then develop, by the time they get to their junior year, a professional portfolio that they will have been building on since their first year, but that will really set them up for exploring where they want to go after college. And then, like the other 2 degrees, there are research and capstone courses as well. And so, I'm as a historian, as a humanities person, as a liberal arts person, I'm so excited to have our faculty kind of come together, think creatively, develop curricula that I think are just really powerful ways to prepare folks for, all kinds of careers post-college. So Gianna, I will hand it back to you, but happy to answer any curricular or academic questions that folks may have.
Thank you so much, Dr. Condon. We're really excited to learn more about these new programs at Merrimack, and I'm sure the folks that are tuning into our webinar tonight are as well. So thank you for that great overview. So at this point in time, we would love to open it up to any questions that you might have listening in. Feel free to use the Q&A feature that's located on the bottom of your Zoom. And Dr. Condon and I are happy to answer the questions that you submit live. And it looks like we've already gotten a couple while we were sitting here chatting. So let's go ahead and we'll take this first question. And Dr. Condon, I'm going to pop this over to you.
I see. Are there enough available credits, courses to have more than one concentration? And the answer to that is 100% yes. And that's really for all 3 of these degrees. You could have multiple concentrations that work something like a combo major. And the other thing to kind of keep in mind is we built our core requirements, and the core is a 10-course core. We've built it in such a way that students, to satisfy their core, can get an additional minor, which is 5 courses. So that's another way to kind of complement the concentrations that one would get in one of these degrees. And so I think there's a lot of opportunities there, and any minor would be appropriate. And so, students that do the humanities degree but are thinking about going on to medical school, for instance, there's the pre-med concentration that we build that with courses in the core. So there's a number of science courses, but there's also all the other courses that medical schools are encouraging students to have. So there's a lot of flexibility there. And then, okay, let's see. For someone interested in becoming a history teacher, how does the government teacher ed history and society factor into this? Yeah. Historically, it would have been an education major with a secondary major concentration. So the way that we've designed this, because we want this to be, really kind of be mindful of cost. And we're also mindful of the fact that in Massachusetts, at least, folks that want to get into secondary ed, the expectation is that you will get a master's degree within a couple of years. And so the way that we really designed this in terms of thinking about it from a cost perspective is students do the government teacher ed history and society degree, and then they can go and get the master's degree through our fellowship program, which actually, if you do the fellowship, you're assigned to a school and you get your graduate tuition for free by working in the school, get all of your hours, do your student teaching. And so it's a 4+1 where you pay $17,000 a year for the undergraduate tuition, and then the graduate tuition would be free because you would get the fellowship. So that's really how we've designed it here. I hope that answers that question.
I think so. I think our next question is, do we need a minimum number of students to offer these programs? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're really excited about this. As I said earlier, we welcomed nearly 75 students into the humanities program, which we were so excited about. So we are expecting that creative arts and design and government will get just as much traction, if not more. So no, there's not a minimum number of students required to run these courses. As I said, we're excited about what these courses will bring and thinking differently about higher education.
How do we get more in-depth info on the major minor courses? That's a good question. I think there's several ways to do that. I know one way would be we're gonna have specific webinars on each of the programs coming up in the next couple of weeks. And so that would be one place to get that information. I know open houses are also things. Our first open house is coming up on October 18th.
Mhm.
And Gianna, are there other things I'm not thinking about here?
So the webinars are a great place to get that in-depth content. I would absolutely recommend our open house coming up on October 18th as well. It's a great opportunity to visit campus. We also have open houses coming up in November and December too, if the 18th doesn't work for you. And then, of course, I would encourage you to get in touch with the Office of Admission, chat with your admission counselor who can provide a lot of really good information about these majors and how they could be a really great option for you. I think the next question is about occupational therapy. Would a student who's interested in going to an OT program be able to pursue any of the $17,000 degrees?
And the answer is 100% yes. And so a lot of, we're working right now to develop articulation agreements with a lot of, medical school, dental schools. We're talking to a lot of counselors there and faculty there and deans there. And there are, there's courses that are recommended, and the major matters less if, if it really doesn't matter what your major is if you have the right courses. And so their advice is always choose what you're excited about, what you're passionate about, what makes the most sense for you, and then working with our centralized advising to kind of plan out the courses that you could take either as part of the core requirements or as electives, specific electives, or as a separate minor in health sciences or something else, or in life sciences would set, I think, folks up very, very well.
Great. This next question is about an application code to waive the application fee. And the great news is there is no fee to apply to Merrimack. So we have been exempt from fees for many years in an attempt to make it as stress-free and take away the barriers as much as possible. So it is free to apply to Merrimack. And we are on the common application. So if you are a senior this year, I would highly encourage you to put Merrimack on your list, especially because you are likely already doing the common application. So it is an easy way for you to submit your application to Merrimack. I should also note that last year we made the decision to be essay optional for applicants after hearing a lot of feedback from students and parents about how the essay was creating a lot of anxiety for students. And with the introduction of AI, we really decided to lean into the idea of a customizable, personalizable application process. So we want you to put your best foot forward and shine in the application. So if you are a strong writer and you are really proud of your writing sample, you can submit your essay. If you are not as confident in that area, you might want to double down and submit more letters of recommendation. So we are happy to have those individual conversations with you as to what might be your best path forward at Merrimack. Okay. Our next question is about the $17,000 price point and if it is available to all or if it is dependent on a family's income. And that is the tuition cost for the degree, regardless of a family's income. So, as I had mentioned earlier, every single student will be considered for scholarship from Merrimack, even at the $17,000 degree price point. So when you apply, you indicate on your application, I'm interested in the BA for Humanities, the BA for Government, the BA for Creative Art and Design. When you apply and we're reviewing your application for admission, we will also review your application for scholarship from Merrimack as well. And the scholarship amount for these $17,000 degrees vary from $1,000 per year up to about $6,000 per year. All right, our next question. What happens if you start with a humanities degree and you change your mind? Is there an off-ramp, Dr. Condon?
There is an off ramp. So there's a transfer process that folks can go to, and you folks can transfer from a humanities degree to a different degree. They can transfer from a different degree into humanities or government or creative arts and design. So that is doable. That is doable, and there's a process for that. And so yeah, that is doable.
And on that same note, are students able to double major with these degree pathways?
And so basically that's the one thing that folks that do the $17,000 degree are not able to double major, but they can do every other thing that students do. So that's minors, multiple minors, that's study abroad, that's internships, co-ops, all of those things. Double majors are not part of this degree option. I'll take this one. Would the pre-med concentration be a good fit for a student who may want to go to PA school postgraduate rather than medical school? That's a great question as well. Um, and I think the answer is, I believe that would be the right way to go. And I think what we'd want to do is, you have the student, we can meet with an advisor to kind of look at what's recommended. If there's any other things that maybe PA recommends that a med school or a dental school doesn't, we can do some tweaking or add an elective here or there to ensure folks are ready to go. But I think that would be a very strong concentration for folks to pick.
And can you tell us a little bit about pre-law?
Yeah, so the pre-law concentration gives students both some coursework and some experiential opportunities to practice through moot court and things like that, that really sets folks up to go on to law school. We've had a very successful placement with students, going for, all the way back. I've been here at Merrimack now for 20 years. I've had alums that come back to me that have gone to many of the schools in the Boston area, also places like Duke Law, and schools like that. So, very, very, very strong success after Merrimack in terms of law school.
Okay, our next question is about the housing grant and if folks need special consideration in order to receive the housing grant. And no, just like any of our other scholarships, whether it is a major specific scholarship, a merit scholarship, also with the housing grant, as long as you indicate on your application that you want to be considered as a resident student, which would mean that you are indicating that you'd like to live on campus, you will automatically be considered and receive the housing grant as part of your offer from Merrimack. Okay, these questions keep coming in. I love it.
Yeah, these are great. If for some reason there is a major change by the student away from humanities, for example, are many of the courses applicable to general education course requirements? 100% correct. Correct. Yeah. The way that we've built our core, it draws heavily on the School of Arts and Sciences, and there's absolutely, anything that you would take in these three degrees, we could work into your gen ed plan, whatever your major ended up being if you decided to change it.
What's the philosophy, Dr. Condon, about being able to offer these degrees at a $17,000 price point?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the what it really comes down to is, um, by themselves, if we continued kind of the traditional, each separate humanities degree or social science or arts degree, you end up with in most places you end up with just a small number of students, and you've got to run so many courses with very, very small numbers of students. And that's not really optimal from a student perspective. It also makes it really challenging in terms of the cost to provide that. And so by creating three strong interdisciplinary cores, we create a structure in which the students are there, we're able to kind of provide that, and we're able to do that at the $17,000 price.
Wonderful. Okay, we're coming up on our last few questions. Would a student ever be locked out of a particular course because they were opting into one of these degrees? Do they have lesser opportunities at the same classes that, say, a health science or a nursing student would?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and the answer to that is no. So we made an additional change to the way that we do registration. The way that we did registration for many, many years was we placed caps on the courses. We let seniors register first, and then kind of all the way down, and we put, restrictions on major, non-major, that sort of thing, and that we realized that it was becoming difficult for students to kind of see that, oh, I can get the courses I want. And it made it hard for us to really understand what the true demand was. So in addition to creating these degrees, we also created a new process last year where basically we have no course caps. We let students register and we see where the demand is, and then we adjust the schedule to meet the actual student demand. So whether they're a humanities major or a nursing major or a business major, they're going to get the courses that they need. And there's no situation in which a humanities student would be told you can't take this course because you're a humanities student.
That's great to hear. Thank you. All right, we have the last few questions coming in. Could you tell us a little bit about how the communication concentration within humanities is different from being a communication and media or business communication major?
Yeah, it's it what what the either communication as part of humanities or part of government does is it really orients students towards either that humanities or social science pathway. And so there, a lot of the skills that you're going to learn in the communications, whether it's a concentration in one of these degrees, or it's connected to business, or it's the full communication major, you're going to be doing kind of similar things at the core. I think it's, some of the other courses that you could take in the major, it's really about choosing, what path makes more sense. There's a huge amount of overlap between these three. And, from my perspective, I have a son who's a senior in high school now, and we're thinking about college and all of his friends and that. And I think it's really hard to go wrong with these $17,000 degrees because it reduce, I mean, a huge part of the stresses of college is, it costs a lot of money, and can I afford it, and all of these things. And I think this really reduces the stress, and you can get, a huge part of, what communications is. You can connect it to other pieces. Communications shares both humanities and social science um, sort of orientations. And so, my recommendation, if you're thinking about both, is I think one of these $17,000 degrees makes sense for those students.
Wonderful. And I think our last question of the night, Dr. Condon, if you've still got some energy left in you,
Yeah, absolutely.
is just to provide a little bit more clarity about the pathway to secondary education and how it fits in with these degrees, particularly for someone with an interest in history or English.
Yes. So let me see. Is the teacher ed history and society the only path for this, or would a general history concentration or English concentration meet the requirements for a specialized area as well? That's a great question. We created this, we named it this, um, trying to capture the recognition that from a licensure perspective, at least in the state of Massachusetts, there are certain areas that students need to make sure they have courses in so that they can prepare for the exams that they need to take to get initial licensure. And so the name of that concentration really is designed to ensure that students get all of the courses that they need. They certainly could, if they wanted to have that concentration in history or English, they could certainly do that. And then just ensure that they get the other courses they need as electives or as part of a minor or as part of their core. So I hope that answers that question.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, you all had such incredible questions tonight. And a huge thank you to you, Dr. Condon, for spending part of your evening with us to discuss these programs. I think everyone's really excited based on the questions coming in and some of the comments we got. I think that these are going to be incredible opportunities for students in the audience, and I'm so excited to see what they do with these degrees in the future.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And I think there may be other questions that folks think of as they're kind of mulling on this, as you're kind of looking over things and talking this through. And we're here to answer questions that you may have through admissions, through the events that we're coming up with. I look forward to meeting some of you on events coming up this fall and in the spring. And I wish you well with the whole process. And we're excited about these degrees and these opportunities.
Well, thank you. So, to close things out for you, we are so excited about these opportunities at Merrimack, and I hope that you learned a lot about what these $17,000 degrees are and how they could potentially be an avenue for you in the future. There were a couple of great questions that came through about learning more about these programs and how you can do that. Well, a couple of ways, as Dr. Condon and I shared, are listed here right on your screen. As we mentioned, this is part of our webinar series for the fall. So you can actually do a deeper dive into these individual programs, plus the architecture program as well, later on in the month of October. So I would encourage you to sign up if anything really stuck out to you, as you might want to learn more about this. That is a great place to go and get a deep dive there. But I would also do a plug for our open house that's coming up on October 18th. It is a great way to get all that content and information, but also visit campus at the same time. We think that that is so important for you to see and experience Merrimack, meet our faculty and staff, and spend some time with our students at the same time. There is also a link here for you to get started on your application. We offer early decision, early action 2, regular enrolling. So there are a lot of plans that would allow you to apply to Merrimack at a time that feels right to you. And then if you are interested in connecting with your counselor, you can go to the Meet Our Team page of our website, pick your state, and then enter in your high school, and the name and contact information for your admission counselor will pop up. And we are always happy to have conversations with you, learn about you, and share why Merrimack might be the best fit for you for college. So, with that being said, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We were so happy to spend tonight with you, and we look forward to getting your application and seeing you on campus soon. Have a wonderful night. Take care.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.